Hi, I'm Dr. Meg Meeker, pediatrician, best-selling author, mom, and grandmother, and I host Parenting Great Kids, a podcast for parents who want to raise confident, emotionally healthy children in today's very complicated world. Each episode, I share practical advice, real-life stories, and expert insight to help you feel more equipped, more encouraged, and less alone. If you're a parent who wants to lead with love and strength, even when it's hard, this show is for you. You can find Parenting Great Kids on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.
You know those wooden bowls we're always talking about and telling you to put in fruit or pine cones or just leave out on your counter for a really earthy touch? Well, guess who's now selling the most beautiful wooden bowls? Well, Quince, of course. You know we love Quince for their cashmere and their elegant home staples. And now with the holidays around the corner, we're looking to Quince for holiday decor and gifts. And what before our wondering eyes did appear, but the most perfect set of wooden bowls. You can buy them individually, 12, 15, or 17 inch, or get the whole set of 3. Just like their clothing, Quince home pieces are made from premium materials priced at half the cost of similar luxury brands. Quince works directly with trusted factories that follow safe, ethical practices. They skip the middleman so the comfort and beauty come without the markup. Give the gift of cozy, thoughtful home essentials this season with Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT. Don't let these slip in through the outdoor. Hey everybody, it's Kelly Wilkness here with Anita Joyce, and this is Decorating Tips and Tricks. And today we are discussing what is out for 2026. We recently did the 2026 trends, so that's letting you know what's here or what's on the horizon for the year. But now we're going to talk about what is out and what you might not want to be adding now. If you missed the train on any of these things, don't get on it now.
Well, that's what a lot of people do, I found, is right when gray was starting to really ease on out, that's when I saw it just pick up everywhere. And I'm thinking, what are you doing? Like, it's too late now. Save yourselves. If something's on its way out, you probably don't want to be adding it to your house unless you just really, really love it.
Yeah. So you listen to what we have to say today. If you really, really love it, keep it, get it. But these are not the things that are on trend for 2026. So these are things that are departing. These are the things that you might want a little bit less of, or if you pass by, don't give them a second glance. I think the overall out is one look interiors. That kind of covers it all. If that was the only one we focused on, that would be a big one. You want to personalize it. You want to mix it up. But this is nothing new, but it's just becoming more and more prevalent as this idea trickles down to personalize your spaces, to mix not only highs and lows, but mix different styles. If you've been listening to us for a long time, you know we've been talking about this. This is the way we decorate. This is the way we would encourage you to decorate. But it seems to be more and more on everyone's radar now. So that's what you want to be looking for, is to decorate with a mix of styles and a mix of highs and lows, and to really add your own personality. Do not go for a one-look home.
Well, I think that's true. And as much as I love antiques, if I filled my house with just antiques, it ends up looking like a museum. It ends up looking like, a Jane Austen, where she lived. And there's the quill pen, that Jane used. I mean, you don't want that. I mean, I think antiques are wonderful, but mix them in with some newer pieces as well. So I 100% agree with you. I think you have to be careful about going overboard and just going all one thing. In fact, that's my first item, is all white kitchens. And I think this has been building for a while. I love a white kitchen. I do. But after seeing nothing but white kitchens for many years now, I am craving color in the kitchen, and things are headed more toward a warm direction and away from this cold antiseptic look. So, I mean, if you have a white kitchen, this isn't a sign from God that you need to redo your kitchen. Unless you've been asking for one, then maybe it is. But, if you've got a white kitchen and you love it, we're not saying get rid of it, but we're saying if you're putting in a new kitchen and you're thinking about white, just make sure that's what you really, really want, because that's kind of going out. If you want it, that's great. Go for it. But if you're just doing it because that's all you've been seeing, then think about it a little bit more and see if you can't maybe add a little color in there, a little personality, because I think you might get bored of it if you just go straight white.
Yeah, and if you have a white kitchen, that doesn't mean you have to go in there and start painting your cabinets and changing your countertop and all of that. There are so many easy ways to add some color, texture, interest, and personality to an all-white kitchen. I have an all-white kitchen. I'm not changing it, but would I look at a magazine and it says, oh, all white kitchens are out, and I'm looking at white cabinets, white countertop, white backsplash, white everything without any individualization, without any personality, without any texture, without any other colors, that is stark. But that's not what I live with. My main pieces are all white. So yes, would you just say, oh, Kelly has an all white kitchen? Yeah, that's the easy thing to say. But it's really not true, because now I actually have a rug in my kitchen, Anita, and I absolutely love it. And I have all kinds of wicker or rattan. I have textured lampshades. I have several pieces of art. I have books. I have all sorts of things that's bringing in some color. I have a pine hutch, which is obviously, not obviously, but I didn't paint it white. I thought about that at some point, but I left it the wood. So I have a lot of different things along with the main white aspects of the kitchen. So if that's what you have, that's great. And if you have a kitchen that leans too white, you might want to start adding some personality, some color, some texture.
Yeah, that's right, because you do not have to change the cabinet color, the backsplash, the countertop. There are ways of adding other color.
Here's an easy one that a lot of people probably didn't do, but scallops were really, really hot for the last couple of years. And if you've got a little bit of scallop somewhere, it's super charming, kind of leans towards the English country, cottagey even look. But scalloped headboards, that's a real statement. That's maybe just a place I wouldn't have done scallops. So if you did it and you have it and you love it, then keep it. But don't buy a headboard now that has scallops on it. I think you're going to get tired of that. Ha ha ha. It's a headboard for a bed. You're going to get tired of that sooner than later. Boop-a-doo.
I love scallops. I think you kind of mentioned what my problem is with them in the beginning. If everything in the room is scalloped, you've got a problem. It's too much. And then you're going to get tired of it, and then it's going to look dated. But I think some scallop things here and there, I think they're fantastic because they are different and interesting. So I think just keep a few scalloped items in your home, and I think you're golden there. So what about formal dining rooms? I think a lot of people have them in their homes, but hosting in general is becoming much more relaxed. It just keeps going more and more informal, and people are moving toward expanding their eat-in kitchen areas rather than using a formal dining room. So a lot of formal dining rooms are now being used as a home office or a library. And, our house is open concept, and we don't have a dining room. We just have one big open space. So there's a little bit of room between the kitchen and the living room. Is that the kitchen, eat-in kitchen? Is that a dining room? I don't know, but it's where we have the table where we eat. So that is really kind of where things are moving in some ways. And the beauty of it is you could put a small table there and you can put a bigger table. So it's kind of like we can use the space however we want. We could make most of the room kitchen or just a little bit of a kitchen. So that's the beauty of the open concept.
Talking about the kitchens, waterfall islands. you know how I feel about an island, and I really don't like a waterfall island. I do like an island with a waterfall, but that's not the same thing. So this is islands where the countertop waterfalled down the sides. And that's been around for a bit of time. And when it first came out, I was like, wow, that's so cool. And wow, that's a lot of slabs. And that would cost you a lot of money. But it's very cold looking. And because we're definitely warming things up, cozying things up, making things feel more human-centric, and where your home is really enveloping you, the extra stone, marble, what have you, even composite material coming down the sides of your island is just no longer going to be enhancing what we're seeing for 2026. So that is out.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. It's our Black Friday sale. Recharge this season with a bundle of cozy, soothing comfort. Now only $17.99 for our C2 mattress and base, plus free premium delivery. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
Let's move to the rest of your house. All neutral or all gray rooms, they are out. Point is, we're really craving color and pattern now. We've been without it for so long. And I had a very neutral house for a long time. And I had lots of color before that. I loved the neutral phase. But then I was bored at some point and I wanted that color back in. And I'm not alone. A lot of people are wanting that. I see online so many homes where it's gray, it's white, there's a gray, kind of gray flannel suit colored sofa. It's got squared off edges. There's a gray rug. And I feel like I'm in a waiting room, waiting for the doctor that never shows up. You do not want your house to look like a doctor's waiting room. It needs personality. You need that warmth and just interest. I mean, you're just going to be bored if that's all you're seeing, and you're going to be wondering, is there more to life than gray and white? And there is. Just go out and buy some colored throws, some pillows. A beautiful colored rug will do a wonderful redo. It's amazing what a colorful rug will do for your room. It will completely change the personality. So there's a lot of ways to do this. If you have neutrals in the room, you do not have to throw out your sofa, like we were saying. Just add some pillows, change out the rug, add some colorful art. There's just a lot of things you can do with what you have.
Yeah. And you said gray. I don't even think we have to say that again. We've talked so much about how the gray is out. It's definitely out for 2026. But gray is a classic. It was the overuse of the gray that's so bad. And the rooms that Anita is describing, like a doctor's office or a hotel room, there was that whole look for a while where everything looked like you were in a high-end hotel or trying to be in a high-end hotel.
I never understood why people wanted that. It was so impersonal looking.
Yeah, I don't really know. It was maybe an easier way to do the neutrals, because we've talked about that. I think we even have a whole episode about that, how doing neutrals is hard.
Well, that's interesting, because I used to tell people online, when I had a blog or Instagram or even on the podcast, use neutrals because it's easier to do them. You're not having to worry about clashing patterns. You're not having to worry about clashing colors. But then you run the danger of just going very boring, because if you're using neutrals, you have to kick it up a notch in other ways, with textures, with different tones, with different shades of neutral colors, and with personal pieces. So, I found that I take it back. I take it back. It is not easier to get it right with neutrals. I think it's just as hard.
Yeah. Yeah. And we've all seen that bad catalog room where sort of everything is neutral tones or everything's gray, and you're just like Decorator's Den, dare I say, something like that. They advertise, and you just like, really? I wouldn't pay somebody to do that. Just very uninspired.
I guess they're not going to be a sponsor.
Well, they haven't been, I doubt it. Anyway, we only take sponsors that we really believe in. So let's just not even worry about that. Okay. Are you ready? Get your pitchfork, because we're going to stick it into Modern Farmhouse.
Oh, that was my next one, too.
Okay, please stop. I have a black and white house, but I don't have a Modern Farmhouse. So, if you got black and white and it's not Modern Farmhouse, don't worry about it. This is not for you. It's that Modern Farmhouse where you didn't have a farmhouse, but you made it black and white, and you bought some stuff from Target, and you thought, oh, now I have a modern farmhouse. But no, you don't. You have a lovely home, but it's not a modern farmhouse, and you're not selling eggs, so stop it, right? So the black finishes were really predominant in this look. There might be a time and a place for a black finished piece of hardware, but when it's coupled with all the white paint and those signs and things like that, it's just too obvious that you're in this, back to my first one look interior. And it's not even your look. It was her look. And she's probably a very nice lady and a great mom and all of that.
She's made a lot of money on it, too.
And she's made a lot of money on everybody buying her stuff. So many people got on board with that and got so excited about it. I mean, the Mecca tours to Waco.
And I do agree with this. However, true confessions, my house is a Texas farmhouse, literally, in the countryside. So it is a farmhouse shape. It is white with black trim on the outside. But when you come inside, we do have the shiplap walls, but I don't have black trim. And my house is very much not modern farmhouse. It has English and French accents. So I did something very different on the inside. I think it looks great. Doesn't need to be painted. So we're keeping it. And white for a farmhouse in Texas works because I have the real thing.
That's it. You have the real thing. And I also have white and black, and I chose that because I didn't want to look like a painted lady. What we're talking about is this sort of manufactured modern farmhouse. It's done. Even Joanna has moved on to other things. Have you seen some other things she's done? So much saturated color. Because I'm sure you do that for so long. She was probably yawning halfway through that trend.
She had to be.
Because she was doing it sooner. Then it caught on. Then it just went on and on and on.
Oh, it went on.
So, yes. So she's moved on, I'm sure, as well, as that should everybody else in 2026.
Boucle. It's had its moment. It was super saturated. It was everywhere. It was very popular. But, again, if the pendulum swings up too high one way, it's going to swing the other way. If it's just kind of a slight trend, then it'll probably stay around for a while. But when it goes that hot, that fast, it's going to be out just as fast. And poof, it's over.
Yeah, everything was in boucle. I remember trying to find swivel chairs for a client that were not
they were all boucle.
All those little barely swivel chairs, every single one of them, but bigger things too, bigger pieces too. Sort of the amount of it dulled its impact, right? So it wasn't that interesting anymore because that's all there was in a lot of different catalog showrooms. It was everywhere. So it wasn't that interesting. It's also terrible for pets and kids.
Oh, yeah.
You can pull it. It just, not a great durable fabric.
Well, and I think its value is the surprise. If you're not expecting it, then you're thinking, oh, wow, what a fun, nubby fabric. But once it's everywhere, when you see it, you're like, oh, been there, done that, So,
yeah,
it's not exciting anymore.
Flat drywall. Now, everybody's got some flat drywall, and most people will continue to have their flat drywall. Mm-hmm. So this isn't necessarily like you really need to do something to your drywall immediately, everyone. But the trend where just having flat, simple walls is over. That it's along with the idea that minimalism is now over. But we know in a couple of years, if we keep doing this, Anita, we're going to be like, minimalism is back.
And I still won't like it.
And we still won't like it, and that's okay. But it will swing back. But for right now in 2026, which is what our topic is today, we're telling you that sort of boring-ish, flat, drywall, painted walls, particularly if it's just a neutral color, out. If you want to be on trend, you want to try something fun in a small area, you want to give your home some personality, jazz it up with some paints or painting techniques, you can try all sorts of things. You could do some lime washing, which is gorgeous. Google it. You can see all the techniques for that. It'll give your walls a lot of depth without actually adding anything onto it except paint and this technique. You could also add some wainscoting. You could add some board and batten. You could add some, I'm going to say even shiplap. You could do it horizontally, or you could do it vertically. You could do some beadboard. You could just do some additional molding, because along with the minimalization of our homes going out, we're seeing, and we want to be seeing, more interesting walls, more interesting woodwork. So if you've got just a little bit of shoe molding, maybe you want to add some molding somewhere. So I'm kind of coupling those all together, just adding some more interest to sort of the infrastructure, the walls, and maybe the doorways. Maybe you're doing some sort of molding to frame out a doorway. These things can add a lot of personality, particularly in a home that doesn't have its own interesting architectural details.
Yeah, well, so you mentioned minimalism, and that's the thing that I was going to mention next, and that is out as well. And are you catching the overarching theme here? It's some things that are just kind of boring, basically. Minimalism doesn't have a lot going on. It's not a lot of color. It's not a lot of things in the room. And then all white, all gray, white kitchens, plain walls. I mean, we're really looking for personality, color, pattern, things going on in the room. I mean, that's the way I would if I had an overarching theme for what we're talking about adding personality to these rooms.
Yeah, this is what we keep coming back to, and that's what we said was on trend. So you should really listen to this episode in conjunction with the other one, so you'll get the sense of really what's in, and then we're filling in the blanks with what is out. Another thing that's out is cafe curtains, kind of along the lines of the scalloped headboard. It's not a big deal. You may not even have that in your home, but it kind of feels a little cottagey, a little twee, a little too nostalgic. And we're looking for a little more this year. So maybe make those cafe curtains into a beautiful Roman, exchange it out for a Roman, or maybe it's a room that could take some drapery. So hang them high and hang them wide and put some gorgeous drapery panels up. So cafe curtains do serve a very specific purpose. So they might be the best use they might be the best window treatment for a particular room, because you want some light to come in, but you need some privacy on the bottom. So if they're really working for you, obviously this is not hard and fast. It's just a sense that along with the maximalism that we're seeing a little bit more fabric, we're seeing a little bit more opulence in our window treatments.
Another thing that is out is the oversized sectional sofa. These are getting so big, and they kind of take up the whole room in some homes. So, look at the size of the room it's going in. If there's no room for anything else, then it's too big, and you can buy a sectional sofa that is sized smaller. So just think about it when you're buying these, because I feel like people are just kind of overdoing it, really, where it just takes over.
While bigger can be better if you've got a larger family or you entertain a lot, really consider whether or not you're going to be able to get side tables in there, whether it's a coffee table is reachable from all the ends of this piece of furniture. So you might want to choose something that's a little bit smaller in scale to enable you to have side tables, lamps, things like that. You just don't want to have that be the only piece in the room. And a sort of a trick that oftentimes works in that situation is if you can do a bench seat, it makes it sort of less compartmentalized for seating people. Because if you have 2 cushions, it feels like, well, 2 people could sit there. Because normally 2 people wouldn't go sit on one cushion unless you were really squashed in at a party or something like that. They would each get a cushion. Or if there were 3 cushions, you'd be like, oh, 3 people could sit there. Or 4. You see where I'm going with this. But if there's a bench and people physically can fit there together, it just kind of opens up the opportunity for more people to sit there because you don't have these divisions. I know it's just kind of something that happens with people's heads when they look at a place to sit, right? If it's a bench, maybe more people could fit on it, and that would allow you to get a smaller size overall, but actually seat more people or as many people as you would on the next size up.
Yes, excellent point.
Matching wood tones. You don't need to do that. You guys know that. So that's just not something that we're seeing in 2026. This is beyond the set of furniture. This is kind of saying, oh, well, my floor is a lighter blonde wood, so then all my furniture kind of has to be Scandi. Well, that's not really true at all. So personalizing, mixing it up, all the things we said in the beginning, all the things we said were in the prior episode for trends, where you're really going to be adding some personality and different types of furnishings, antiques, and modern pieces. You can't do that as well if you're really trying to curate all your wood tones in one type of wood or one tone. So feel free to mix it up.
Well, that was very interesting. Did you have any more?
So that's about it as far as what's really on the radar for being out for 2026. But I did come upon something while I was researching for the episode. And I thought that this was really perfect because people like to have a name on something. We don't like that so much because I think it pigeonholes people. But if that's something you're comfortable with, what I have heard is going around out there in the designer world is calling this 2026 trend modern heritage.
Oh, interesting.
First coined by those Brownstone brothers or Brownstone dudes, the guy that started doing brownstones over in Brooklyn and various
Property
places.
Brothers?
No, it's the Brownstone dudes. Yeah.
Oh,
different
okay.
guys. We can put a link to them. They do some really cool things. So this modern heritage, rooted in history, but living for today, adding personality, but being enduring, mixing up styles. And they were saying, and I think this is so true, that this is a look that has been coming on. And, we've been doing it for forever, or, since we kind of, both of us had different looks. I mean, there was a time when I was very young that I was into sort of peach and sage and all kinds of stuff that I'm not into anymore. I mean, we've all evolved. Anita and I have definitely evolved. You're all evolving. But, we at some point we got really good at this and we love it so much. But even so, you're honing your skills and your eye all the time.
Yes.
As a designer, as a creative, right? So we knew we loved this mix of highs and lows and antiques and modern pieces, and Anita chucking in a French chair all the time and all these things, and her Texas, sometimes she does hide rugs and French chairs. It's fantastic, and I'm doing Barcelona chairs with antique pieces of brown furniture and all that. So we've been doing this a long time. We've both been fortunate enough to live in places, Houston, New York City, and now I've been in California for the last many years. The Rose Bowl flea market, I could literally walk to it. We have been surrounded by opportunities to source fantastic antiques.
Well, and now I'm near Round Top, so
right.
That's a massive amount of antiques.
Yes. So, but now, and in the last several years, it's been easier for other people who don't live in such areas that are sort of surrounded by these antique opportunities to source vintage and antique pieces. We've got all these online sources, and from First Dibs all the way down to a Facebook marketplace piece. It's much more attainable. So I think more and more people are now able to get this highly personalized look. And so I feel like this 2026 trend is really going to last for a long time. And it's going to be the way that people decorate. Many people will decorate for always. That they'll just add pieces will rotate out, kind of just exactly what we've been doing for many years. But I do like this term modern heritage. I think it kind of puts a stamp on what we're talking about and, sums it up very well in 2 words. So if you want to think about it like that, you can. Definitely think about doing all the things that we talked about in the prior episode in the 2026 Trend Report episode. If you haven't had time to listen to that, get onto that one. And I think these 2 episodes will make it very clear in which direction you should be going as a design enthusiast for 2026.
Well said.
Anita's going to put a lid on something for us today and give us a little history on something definitely your mom's had, and maybe you have too.
Tupperware. So let's back up into World War II. Earl Tupper worked at a plastics factory. And after that, he acquired some leftover polyethylene from the war manufacturing process, and he was looking for some new ways to use it. And he ended up forming this new moldable, unbreakable plastic. He called it the Wonder Bowl, and it had this lid that had an airtight seal, which really had not been done in the past. In fact, if you look at old refrigerator containers from maybe the 30s or 40s, you'll see they're just glass containers with glass lids. In fact, women at the time were also using glass bowls, maybe a glass mixing bowl, and then putting their shower cap on top. And that was what people were doing.
No way.
Yeah, that's what hey, women are creative. They will come up with solutions. Anyway, so he realized that these would be great for storing leftover food. And so the burping seal design of Tupperware was patented in 1949, and the product had instant appeal, and people were buying it in droves because of this seal. But then they'd get home and they'd put the lid on and they'd go, it doesn't fit. They didn't know that you have to really press it and, burp it. That's the way the original Tupperware had to be used. So they were returning it like crazy, and he was kind of scratching his head. Meanwhile, this company, Stanley Home, began doing demonstrations in homes on how to use the Tupperware, and it was started selling like crazy, and people were not returning it. Bonnie Wise was then a salesperson with Stanley Home, and she saw the potential for selling Tupperware directly to women during house parties. So she started her own company based on the home party business. So the women would host the party, Wise would present the products, and then the hostess would get some free Tupperware for her efforts. And she really created, as far as I know, the first multi-level marketing program with these Tupperware parties. Well, Tupper kind of figured out what was going on. And so he was a very smart man in that he hired Wise as his general manager of the new home party division of his company in 1951. It's a very interesting story, and you might check into it because there's a lot of stuff that went on with that. And she was fired unceremoniously at some point. And so there's a lot of controversy about that. So I'll let you look that up yourself. But it is an interesting story. And so that's how it got going. And, because it was sold in homes, it was seen as very exclusive. And, women could make money working from home. So it really was a wonderful business model that a lot of other companies after this were based on. But fast forward to today, now we know that a lot of these plastics are not good for storing food in because they've got BPAs and a lot of other chemicals that leach into the foods. Now we know not to use them in microwaves. So the times have changed, and Tupperware, and I would say all plastic containers for food, have kind of fallen out of favor. And the irony is we're now back to the glass containers that were used long before Tupperware was ever invented. So there, now a little brief history of Tupperware.
Oh, that was so interesting, and a perfect lead-in to my crush. You were talking about women having Tupperware parties at home. Well, I just went to an all-women's party that I have to share as my crush.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my gosh. The Early Birds Club. It is a dance party for women who have stuff stuff to do in the morning. I won't do our real tagline, but just let's say stuff to do in the morning. It starts at 6 p.m. and it ends at 10. I was home by 10:30, asleep by 11, and I danced the night away with my friends. It is this amazing roving event that has been going around for the last 18 months. It's that young, but it's going to lots and lots of cities in the USA. We went to one of the LA events on Saturday night and had the absolute best time.
So My Crush is a podcast. It's the Wise About Texas History podcast, and it's hosted by a Texas judge, Ken Wise, who clearly loves Texas history. And you don't have to be a Texan to enjoy the podcast. If you love history, I think you're going to love it. It's a very fascinating history with all these firsthand accounts of what happened and kind of the stuff that you don't hear. And he's also highlighting women. And there's a lot of very strong Texas women that kind of were very bold and accomplished quite a bit, impressively so. So it's a very fascinating podcast. And which reminds me, if you ask me later, I'll tell you about Bonnie and Clyde and my great aunt Theda. But it's a very...
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, but it's a wonderful podcast. I really enjoy it.
Oh, that's great. I love having podcast recommendations. And you know what? On that note, if you love decorating tips and tricks and you have not recommended it to any of your friends, please do share the love. Let them enjoy it along with you. And then you can talk about our episodes. We have a lot of people that are either moms and daughters or sisters that do that or friends, and they let us know that it's so much fun to sort of rehash the episodes with the people that they love.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us. And remember, we're here to inspire you to create a beautiful home. Until next time.
Fabulous, fun, wow, even better than I had hoped or expected. These are just a few of the words used to describe a DTT design consult. We've been doing consults for many years, and boy, are we good at it. And people are loving the results of the advice and suggestions that we make for them. It's so easy to schedule a consult with us. Just simply go to our website, decoratingtipsandtricks.com, and click consult. There you'll be led through the very simple process. And sooner than later, you, I, and Anita will be discussing your home in detail. So sign up for a consult today. Let us help you design and decorate the home that you want and deserve. Looking forward to talking to you soon.